At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Pahrump Nugget, Progressive Cash Drawings, Mystery Point Multipliers, Mystery Gift Days, Extra Cash for 4 of a kinds, Bingo, Bowling, Football, and Food Specials. Looking for constant action? Look no further. Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino.
News 46 is brought to you by Healthcare Partners. News is brought to you in part by One Nevada Credit Union, where right now you could refinance your auto loan with rates as low as 2.98% and no payments for 90 days for qualified members. Call us today for details. News is also brought to you by Capriati Sandwich Shop, located in the Pahrump Nugget Casino. Call us at 775-751-3354 to order ahead. News is also brought to you by Hope Counseling Services, where we specialize in behavioral health, inspiring hope for a brighter tomorrow. Call 775-727-0101 for more information.
Tonight on News 46, negotiations end well after a 3.5-hour standoff.
A ribbon cutting will be held this month for the new jail facility.
And what would happen if you were to put kerosene in your gas tank? News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Zach Fuentes and Monique Murphy. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
And good evening. It's Tuesday, July 10th, 2012. I'm Zach Fuentes.
And I'm Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. A man by the first name of Keith was in a 3.5-hour standoff with law enforcement last night on Cajon Street, located north of Kellogg Road. Keith allegedly told deputies that he is the former best friend of James Chafin. Chafin is the man who is responsible for murdering 24-year-old K-9 deputy Ian Deutsch on April 26th of 2010 in front of Lakeside Casino. Keith told dispatch that he wanted to die and that he planned to go out like his friend James, who was shot and killed by deputies after he killed Deputy Deutsch. Keith apparently had a 9mm weapon at the residence last night.
We received a call, it was approximately 3:30, I believe, of a suicidal subject, and deputies initially responded to the location. We were told that he was armed with a rifle and that he wanted the deputies to kill him, suicide by cop. The initial negotiator was Captain Bill Beck. Those negotiations broke down. We always have a secondary negotiator on scene. I was a secondary negotiator. I was able to establish a rapport with him, and I talked to him for about 2.5 hours, and I was able to convince him to come out. He made several threats during the time that I was talking to him about wanting to die. We were able to get his son involved as well. And his son was able to talk to him, and between me and his son, we were able to convince him to come out and let us get him the help that he needs.
There was a female involved, too.
There was. I don't know the extent of the female. I was brought in for negotiations.
And there was 3 subjects that arrived on scene, one of them being his son, and then 2 others who were telling you that they could talk to him and talk him down. So bringing in his son, and that was the Andrew, right?
I don't know about the other subjects on scene, but when I was about 90% sure that he was going to come out, he asked me to show him some good faith and let him talk to his son. So we brought the son up and kept his son out of harm's way in case a shooting did occur. And the son and I were able to push him that last 10% to get him to come out peacefully.
We brought in SWAT, and also there were some tense moments there for a little while, wondering if he was watching you, if he perhaps had his eye on you as far as shooting.
Well, you never know in these type of situations. We don't know what's in the house. We don't know how many people are in the house. We don't know what type of weapons he has. We have really good trained negotiators. We've been through the FBI school, through Metro school. So we were pretty confident that we could talk him down.
Any prior history with law enforcement with this individual?
Nothing significant, just a little complaints here and there, but nothing significant, no.
Was there a time where he told you that he was a friend of the suspect or that killed Ian Deutsch?
There was. He said that he was his best friend, and I don't know the suspect's name. I don't recall the name, but he did say that he wanted to go out like him.
So he was thinking perhaps about taking out a cop too as well?
Well, afterwards he said that he wasn't, that all that he would have done is pointed a gun at us to get us to fire upon him, but we didn't give him that opportunity. When this type of thing happens, we mobilize our department as best as we can. We try to evacuate the neighbors so that there's no innocent bystanders that are injured, and this is what we get paid to do.
And in the negotiations, did he seem like he was willing to go all the way, or did it seem like there might be a hint that maybe he needed some help and that he was hoping you guys would talk to him?
I think that I would classify it more as somebody reaching out for help, somebody that wasn't serious about that. I felt that after talking with him about 10-15 minutes that I could talk him down, and I was able to, like I said, after about 2.5 hours to bring him out. And
so how old do you think this individual is?
I would say he's probably in his late 40s, maybe mid-40s to late 40s.
And any other things that you'd like to add?
I'm just glad that it came out okay and that he's all right and our officers are all right.
Keith was reportedly transported to Desert View Hospital after being arrested for obstruction, then subsequently transported to a Las Vegas mental health facility for psychiatric treatment. Another person was arrested on scene last night for obstruction. The subject was an older man who apparently attempted to rush the scene. Deputies apprehended the man, who was transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Detention Center. This afternoon, Nye County Sheriff's deputies also were dispatched to the same location for an apparent suicidal female who had a .38 caliber handgun. She allegedly stated that she wanted to end her life and that she was not afraid to use the weapon. Deputies immediately made contact with the female. She was reportedly transported for treatment as well. The gun was confiscated for safekeeping by deputies.
Well, the Southern Nye County Detention Center is planning their official ribbon cutting for July 31st at 1 p.m. This $18 million project is receiving the finishing touches to house over 200 and up to possibly 500 inmates. Lieutenant Jack Hannigan has been named the corrections commander.
We basically are training the employees this month. We hope to have it open for occupancy by no later than mid-August.
How many inmates does this have the capability to house?
We will be able to house 224 inmates.
With the option of expanding, right?
With the option of expanding, we will be able to expand up to 500.
We had a little tour of the facility, and let's go through some of it. The Sally Port, let's talk about that.
The Sally Port is the area where all transportation with inmates will come in or leave from. A deputy's unit will come into the Sally Port. They will take the inmate out of the Sally Port, bring them up the walkway into the booking area.
And that booking area right there has some little desks and some cells for holding. That's a temporary holding?
Yes, this is a temporary holding facility. An individual will be brought in, they will be booked in, and then put in a holding facility or a holding cell until they can be dressed down and taken to the housing area.
We also have a property area too as well that they can receive their what is it, their jail?
Yes, the individual, once they're finished booking, we'll take them from the holding cell, we'll take them into the shower and search room. This is where they will be thoroughly searched, and they will be given everything, their blanket, their pillows, their mattress cover, their clothing, and a plastic bag with a Ziploc on it. They will take off all of their clothing, put it in the plastic bag, it will be Ziplocked shut, put in the bag, and then they will be taken from the house, from that area to their housing area.
And this will also hold the inmates' property. They can stay at this facility for how long? Up to how many years?
A misdemeanor is the only thing that we can house for a long term. An individual can come in, they'll be here awaiting trial if they do not bail out, or if they are sentenced, they will stay here the amount of their sentence minus work time if they're an inmate worker, or good time if they're an ideal inmate.
We have some state-of-the-art areas here, including The design of the facility being that there is a security person in the middle called a pod, and they can see inside each cell individually, as well as monitoring with cameras all over the place.
Yes, we will have an individual working pod control and a deputy working the floor. The deputy will always be moving about through the different housing areas, watching what's going on inside, and the person in pod control can alarm them if there's any suspicious activity in any of the housing areas, things of this nature.
And that pod can also control the lockdown and opening and closing of the door areas too as well.
That pod, we have two pods. We have central pod control, and we have central control and pod control. Central control covers the full area, admin area, things of this nature during the day when the front office is open. When that is locked down, then pod control will control the complete facility to include opening and closing all the doors, monitoring all the lights, monitoring all the cameras that are throughout the facility.
And we'll have much more local news when we return from these messages. Don't go anywhere.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Children's Dentistry of Pahrump, specializing in sedation dentistry, now accepting adult patients. Call now for free IV sedation with dental implant, 751-2184.
Welcome back, everyone. A gallon of gas in Nevada costs an average of $3.49 after prices tumbled 33 cents in the past month. Now, AAA says that prices are down 5 cents from the same time last year. Nevada's numbers are slightly higher than the national average of $3.38. Prices were highest in Elko, where regular unleaded gas averages $3.75 per gallon. North Las Vegas and Las Vegas tied for the cheapest with an average of $3.42. Gas in Reno is $3.63 per gallon. The cheapest gas in the country is in the Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson metro area in South Carolina. The average price of gas there is $2.98. I think I'm going to move there. Wailuku, Hawaii has the nation's most expensive gas at $4.41 per gallon.
Now I'm kind of worried about losing Zach. Spending money on gas for your vehicle is one thing, but wonder if you spent over $35 on fuel that can damage your engine. One local consumer had to have her car towed from a local gas station this morning and sent to a repair shop after mistakenly putting kerosene in her car. According to her mechanic, this is not the first time that this has happened at the station. The mechanic also said that the fuel nozzle should have not fit in her car in order to prevent this from happening.
We're here today with the local real estate agent, Susan Strain, who accidentally put kerosene into her car at the Rebel gas station on Highway 160 and 372. Now, this would not have happened if the pump did not fit into her car, which is a standard now for most gas stations. We're going to speak to her right now.
I stopped at the Rebel on Highway 160 and 372 and was going to put gasoline in my car. I paid for it outside, and I ended up pumping the car with $35 worth of kerosene. I was a little upset, to say the least, and I'm just thankful that the printer for my receipt wasn't working, because that's the only way I would have known that I'd done this when I went inside to get a receipt and they informed me that I had put in kerosene by mistake.
And luckily you did not start your car?
No, I didn't start it. It probably would have made a bit of a mess of it. I'm not sure what would have happened, but...
Well, you had a tow truck driver explain to you that most gas pumps do not have a pump that can fit into a car like yours if it has kerosene.
I understand from my usual auto repairman who I phoned about this that it shouldn't fit in my tank. So that would be a preventative measure for people who, you know, aren't used to going up to a gas station where they do dispense kerosene. I've never been to a gas station before, and it was just a complete surprise to me that it was there.
Did you speak to anybody at the Rebel gas station? What kind of response did they have to this?
Well, I was kind of irate, unfortunately, because they said don't drive the car, and I have a busy schedule. but they just had me fill out a form, and I asked them, can I get my $36 back? I guess I will eventually. But I had to have the car towed. I'm going to have the gasoline removed from my gas tank, and the inconvenience, of course. And I just want to let other people know maybe they should watch out for these signs that say kerosene, that it's easy to miss, in my opinion.
And we will have more local news after the break, so please keep it here.